Kentucky Senator Rand Paul has decided that his culture war issue is COVID-19, and so he continues to push out disinformation that only helps to harm people, including his own constituents. So recently, he decided to go after the media and also healthcare professionals who are cautioning Americans who have been sold this idea that ivermectin is a COVID-19 treatment. It in fact is not a COVID-19 treatment. It is a treatment for parasitic infections in the intestinal tract for things like roundworm, for instance, right? And so doesn't matter, when he was speaking at a town hall recently, he said that the hatred for Trump deranged these people so much that they're unwilling to objectively study it. Not true, it has been studied. So someone like me that's in the middle of it, I can't tell you because they will not study ivermectin. That's not true, they have. They will not study hydroxychloroquine. That's not true, they have, without the taint of their hatred for Donald Trump. Now let me be clear, there are many bad things to say about Donald Trump. Luckily though, while he did push for hydroxychloroquine, as far as I know, he has not pushed for ivermectin. Now, there were studies into both drugs, and those studies indicated that they were not effective treatments for coronavirus. So, let's actually fast forward to this graphic regarding the studies that were done on hydroxychloroquine. A study in Brazil was halted early for safety reasons after coronavirus patients taking a higher dose of hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine developed irregular heart rates that increased their risk of a potentially fatal heart arrhythmia. Roughly half of the study participants were given a low dose of chloroquine, while the rest were prescribed a high dose. Within 3 days, researchers started noticing heart arrhythmias in patients taking the higher dose. By the 6th day of treatment, 11 patients had died, leading to an immediate end to the high dose segment of the trial. Now, other studies indicated that it was not effective in treating coronavirus, which is why it is not being used as a treatment for coronavirus. There are other drugs that are being used, like Regeneron, for instance, for those who have been unfortunately hospitalized because they refused to get the coronavirus vaccine, which prevents hospitalizations. But this is incredibly irresponsible behavior from an elected lawmaker, especially someone in the United States Senate. But hey, it's Rand Paul, so what can you expect?
So these right wingers, I get frustrated at the media for taking them seriously. I get it, he's a United States Senator. And Lindsey Graham's a United States Senator. Lindsey Graham out there saying, hey, we should impeach Biden because my defense contractor donors want more war. And then they have to take him seriously. Oh, what do you think? Why do you think he should be impeached? Let's have a real debate about it, as if he's a legitimate actor. Rand Paul, oh, they've done no studies. You know the National Institute of Health did a study, and so did Oxford. And then Rand Paul comes out and lies to you. And Rand Paul's not a dumb guy. There's plenty of dumb guys in the Republican Party, but Rand Paul's not one of them. It's very likely, either he did no research, which would be, for a right winger normally would be normal, okay? But in his case, I'd be surprised. I think he's lying to you on purpose.
Yeah,
he
100%.
Yeah, they're not gonna look up the Oxford study. I'm just gonna tell them they didn't do a study. And I'm gonna say, oh, they didn't do it because of Trump. That'll seem believable. Besides, my voters are schmucks, so it's so easy to trick them. And then I won't say take ivermectin. I'll just tell you that they're discriminating against ivermectin because of Trump derangement syndrome. And then they'll all take ivermectin. And then I'll get elected to further office because if you're not crazy in the Republican Party, you'll lose a primary. And I don't want to lose my primary. And I want to run for president again. And I want to tell them I'm the craziest son of a bitch there is. I'm dumber than DeSantis. I'm dumber than Greg Abbott. I'm dumber than anyone who's going to run because that's my best chance of winning in the Republican Party. And Rand Paul knows it. He knows it. So they've studied those things. And guys, look at that chloroquine study. 11 dead in 6 days at the higher dosages. So they had to call it off. They're like, oh my God, this kills people, right? You know how people die from ivermectin? Anna just told me this during the break. Look, I know that it's to treat parasites in your intestines. And so at the low dosages, if you have tapeworm, you could use it on humans. In the higher dosages, they use it on cattle and horses. And that's what now a lot of folks are grabbing, and it's making them really sick. Apparently, some of them crap themselves to death.
Yeah.
Because it's cleaning out their intestines and they're taking too high a dosage.
Yep.
So they crap themselves to death, believing in monsters like Rand Paul, who thinks, well, I get it, I told you earlier in Florida, over 1,700 people died just last week. So by the way, mostly Republicans. So Rand Paul thinks, I know, a couple of thousand of my voters will die, maybe in Kentucky.
Yep.
Across the country, tens of thousands of our voters will die. But hey, it'll help my political career by a little bit. So I'll go out there and lie to them on purpose because I'm a monster. That's who Rand Paul is.
Exactly, and look at them, and look at Rand Paul tying the very truthful pushback against ivermectin to Trump derangement syndrome when Trump hasn't advocated for the use of ivermectin. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has everything to do with the fact that it is not a proven treatment for COVID-19. In fact, the one and only study that showed that it could have some benefits had to be withdrawn because of fraud in the study. In fact, one of the study authors very clearly stated on Twitter, this study has been withdrawn because of medical fraud. No one should be citing it as a reason to take ivermectin. But who cares? Who cares? Let's just say that it's Trump derangement syndrome. By the way, the CDC's numbers show that from early July through August 13th, pharmacies filled more than 88,000 prescriptions of ivermectin. Okay, so all right, I mean, that's the situation we're dealing with right now, where an elected lawmaker who's supposed to be representing the best interests of his constituents is literally lying to them, knowing full well that it could get them killed. But who cares? Who cares?
So Rand Paul's best defense is, I'm an idiot and I didn't know about any of the studies, and I went out there and told people because I'm an ignorant jackass and I didn't even bother checking and I'm lazy and you should fire me. That's his best defense. But why do we think he's lying on purpose and not just ignorant? Well, he knows that Trump hasn't said anything about ivermectin. That we know for sure. Plus, vaccines, Trump's the one that authorized Operation Warp Speed to create vaccines as quickly as possible. And Rand Paul definitely knows that, but yet he's out there slanging ivermectin and he's doing it in a legalese way. That's where you know he's a slimeball liar. I didn't say to take ivermectin. I was just saying, if you don't take ivermectin, it's part of Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, they're not studying it. They should be, it's so legitimate. They should be studying it more. I didn't say to take it, you weasel. You liar. So this is the Republican Party leadership now, a bunch of monsters. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.